Okay, so I'm going to be reviewing the next movie in the franchise, Friday the 13th franchise, Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Like I said, the fourth movie was supposed to be the end of the series, but it, made a lot of money at the box office, so it called for high demand, so they made another movie. And after the events of Part 4, where at the end you think, oh, maybe Jason's body possessed Tommy's body, because at the end how Tommy looked into the camera when he was hugging his sister and he had like a very evil look in his eye. But no, it was kind of like the ending of Halloween Part 4, where you think that, oh, after Jamie Lloyd dresses like Michael Myers, like how he dressed as a child and killed his sister on Halloween night, and then she dresses like a clown too, and then stabs her foster mother. Oh, she will be the next killer in the series. But nope. Same thing with this. Tommy's not the killer in this one. Instead, it's Jason, or you think it's actually an imposter Jason. Yeah, this movie is one of the most hated in the series, and I like the movie. I mean, it's not like a far deviation like Halloween 3. It's still a slasher movie, but it's not the real Jason. It's someone dressed like Jason, acting like him, committing his style murders. Which I didn't really get how this character did it, but okay, I'll get into that. So, this follows Tommy Jarvis' character, but he's a little bit older, and he's sent to this basically like a halfway house where all these really crazy fucked up people are at. And he's having visions about Jason. Like he look out the window and see Jason standing by trees, and he's afraid of becoming like Jason. And of course, there's this movie's just weird. I'm gonna tell you. There's this weird father or son and mother, uh this weird mother and son neighbors that live by the mental institute or by the halfway house, and they're just as crazy, and they're very redneckish, and they're oh, we're tired of these fucking kids. The mom cusses all the time, so I'm not even like, she's like, we're tired of these fucking kids coming up to our house, and they're sitting there having sex and this and that, destroying our property, and you know, so a bunch of these murders start happening at the halfway house, and you think they give you three options of who it could be. One could be, oh, it could be Tommy, or one is, oh, it could be this weird redneck family, or mother and son, or three, it could be a character named Vic who kills this mentally handicapped guy named Joey, and he gets taken away he gets arrested. But yeah, but then later on you're like, there's another option, or it could be Jason. But yeah, this movie is weird as hell, and because there's a documentary called His Name Was Jason, and of course there's Crystal Lake Memories. But they said that the director, who is Danny Steinman, he was known for making pornography movies. And so for some reason, they got him to make this. And you can tell because it's really sleazy. There's a lot of nudity in it. There's not a lot of sex scenes, just one sex scene, but it's not graphic. But there's a lot of nudity in it. The violence is upped up a lot. The gore's very graphic. And like I said, this is probably the most violent out of the Friday the 13th series. Um, there's a scene where a woman, her last name is Voorhees. She's laying on the ground, and Jason takes hedge clippers, sticks them in her eyes, and goes like that, and breaks them like that. There's one guy who's her boyfriend. He's out in the woods. I think he was using the bathroom or something, and Jason takes like a belt and like wraps it, puts it around where his eyes are at, and like holds him against the tree. And it's like not a tourniquet, kind of like grading someone, but around their eyes. He takes and just goes. It takes the stick and just starts crushing his skull with the belt. Um, one character, her death was actually cut out of the movie, and I don't think they actually have the scene where they filmed her actual death, or if they filmed it or what. But there's like this one girl, she's like obsessed with like robotic dancing. I don't know, it's really weird. And in the cut version, she just gets stabbed by Jason. But in the version that was supposed, like the uncut version, or whatever, she gets stabbed in the vagina and like cut upwards. But they cut that out of the movie, and I can see why. But there's a picture of her, with her legs open, and you see a bunch of blood down it, like a really bad cut, and you're like, oh man, like that would have been fucked up. They left that in the movie. Um, uh, the 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 redneck family thing going on. The younger son, the son, Junior, he's like riding around on the motorcycle. I mean, I didn't really. I mean, they're kind of funny, but they were kind of annoying, especially the scene where he's riding around in the motorcycle and he's screaming like at the top of his lungs, and then Jason comes by, just cuts his head off with the machete, and his head goes flying. I think it flies into I think it's she's making stew. I think that's what it flies into. There's another character. He's there's a character, a young boy named Reggie, who's at the halfway house. He's only there because his grandpa's is the cook there. But he has a cousin, an older cousin. I don't know his name, but he's one of the he played in Return of the Living Dead. He played one of the punk rockers in there. He's one of the black punk rocker in Return of the Living Dead. And well, he comes there and he's sitting on the toilet taking a shit, and Jason comes and stabs him through there. He's like talking about all about past these enchiladas or whatever, and then him and his girlfriend are like singing together, like he's on the toilet, you know using the bathroom, she's outside, and they're both singing. And then like the outhouse starts shaking, and then he gets stabbed while he's taking a crap on the toilet. um Damn, where's another scene? Oh, there's like this greaser, like these two greasers that just show up, and like their car breaks down, so like one of them gets out to like check to see what's happened, and Jason takes a flare and sticks it in his mouth and kills him. Um, yeah, what's another? Oh, there's more death scenes I'm thinking. Oh, and then there's a scene. This happened early in the movie before all the killings, Jason killing starts happening. There's like this one character named Victor, or Vic, that's what they call him. He got like anger management issues. He's like outside chopping some wood, and there's this mentally handicapped guy, like fat guy named Joey. He's eating a candy bar, and well, first he goes up to these girls that are doing the laundry, and he picks, because he has like chocolate over his hands. He picks up the sheets and gets them dirty, so the girls yell at him. They're like, "Oh, go! You're ruining everything." So he goes up to Vic, and he's like, "Hey Vic, do you want a chocolate bar?" And he's like, "No." And then he's like, "Well, he's like, I'll give you a chocolate bar or whatever, and he puts the chocolate bar down, like, where he's chopping the wood at, and Vic, like, takes it and smacks it down. He's like, no, leave me alone! And then he's like, Joey's like, forget it, Vic, just forget it! And he walks off, and then freaking Vic freaks out and starts hacking him to death with a freaking axe. Like, you don't really see, like, what happens until afterwards, that you just see, like, all his limbs everywhere, and then they drive him off. That's, like, one of the funniest scenes out of the movie, and it's kind of, like, one of the more awkward scenes out of the movie, and, like, so there's an ambulance driver. Later on, when you find out who Jason really is, or the imposter Jason is, there's a ambulance driver named Roy, and he's actually the father of Joey, and you can kind of tell, like, you gotta watch the movie again. They kind of make it obvious that, oh, he's going to be the killer, because every time they mention his son, or, like, especially the scene where he's, looking at his son's dead body and stuff, like, looks at the camera and has, like, this very, like, angry look on his face, and it's like, oh yeah, that was pretty obvious. Oh yeah, there's a scene where this couple is at a restaurant, I think, and there's a kind of dumb scene where, like, a cat jumps out and scares the woman, but there's a guy sitting in the car, and Jason comes out and freaking takes an axe and smashes it in the back of the guy's head, or Roy, I mean, and, like, I was kind of unconvinced that Roy was the killer, because just at how he looked and his physical appearance, he doesn't look like he has the physical capability to do some of those deaths. So, yeah. I mean, and how he dies is pretty stupid. Like, he gets pushed out of a or out of the barn, and there's, like, these spikes laying on the ground, and he falls and lands on the spikes. And then at the ending, Tommy's, like, in the hospital, and he's walking around, and he finds this Jason mask, and he puts it on, and the final girl from the end of the movie, she's, like, comes to visit him, and, she can't find him, and then he comes up behind her with the knife and the hockey mask on, and then it just ends. So you're like, oh, so maybe he's gonna be the killer in the next movie. Nope. Like I said, this movie is kind of like is one that's most hated out of the series, probably besides Jason X and somewhat Jason Goes to Hell. I know some people don't like that one, but I enjoyed the movie for what it is. Like, if you just kind of, like, try to forget that it's not, and that you could tell that it's not really Jason, because the hockey mask looks different, and the color stripes on the hockey mask, like, Jason has red stripes on his, and the poster have blue stripes. But when you watch it and try to, like, disconnect that it's not really the real Jason, it's still pretty good. Like I said, the death scenes are very gory and violent. Basically, this is what all the movie, why people watch this series and like it, is because of the death scenes. But anyways, that's my review.